is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Currently. It's your Teal Boys, Daniel Kuzer, here with Chris Wright. Chris, what's up, dude? What's going on?
Man, every time I see your mustache, I can't stop looking at it. It's so nice. It's so
Drink it in, baby. Drink it in. She's soft too, like a pillow.
I want to feel it. That'd be a little weird. So I don't know. I don't know what a soft mustache feels like. So
that's the weirdest thing you've ever said to me. All right.
Why
not nibble
in front of a bunch of people?
Good grief. Hey guys, we're officially, the off season's off and rolling for Kansas City Current. Already got some off season stuff happening. Dare I say acquisitions? Dare I say naming stuff? It's been a fun week, and NWSL playoffs are in full blown steam, dude. I don't know what that means, but they're rolling, and we're gonna talk about it all today. Before we get started, if you guys haven't yet, go get that 5-star rating and review for us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to us. It helps other people find the premier Kansas City Current podcast. Chris, how's your week been, man? What's going on?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Week went well. A lot of fun news. And then tonight, because we record on Wednesday, we got a sporting playoff game. So,
boy,
pretty excited for that one.
It's been a weird year for both teams, man. I do both podcasts. I do the women's side and the men's side. And just a little reflection here, since we're coming down to the end of the soccer year. It's been different for me, dude. It's been weird to switch back and forth like that in different mindsets and think what kind of tone we have here and what kind of tone I have with Jimmy. Not to mention the teams have been like this, just roller coaster, man, just stock market crash and boosting. It was wild. And there were times when I was just talking with Jimmy how, man, this is done. Like, I'm more excited to talk KC Current. And then KC Current started to tumble. And I'm like, damn, Sporting's doing well. I'm kind of more excited to talk them. And now they're in the playoffs. Who the hell knew, man? With KC Current's lineup, who the hell knew we'd be on the outside looking in like this? I feel a lot of FOMO, and I'm not enjoying watching these other teams play.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. At the very beginning of the year, people are like, why even play the games? Because that's when we signed Dabinia, Hannah Glass, Di Bernardo, Morgan Gautrat. Our roster was so incredibly stacked. Even our injured players can fill out a team, essentially. They would be a starting lineup for a team. But, that's why you play the game. That is why you play the game. We finished 11th. So a lot of work to be done next year.
Lots to be done, man. And there's no shortage of news this past week, man. You had the couple quick hitters here. I mean, first off, did we talk Joe's KC Barbecue? Did we talk about that last week?
We did. We talked about how it's not for us, but it's a great way. It's a great taste of Kansas City when people
That's right.
come and travel in. And
could not remember. Cool. Not going to talk about it again. Dude, but Dabinia, ever heard of her? She was named to September/October NWSL Best 11. And why don't these players get a whole month to be like Best 11? Why do they have to have a 2-month situation? What is that about?
I don't. It's silly. It's silly, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, they play enough games to get a feel for the month as to who should be in that Best 11. I don't know why they combine them. Let them have their own month.
You know what it is?
It makes no sense.
I'm gonna blast it. It's continually moving the goalpost for women. I said it. We need to stop. I want them to have their whole month. The men get a whole month. The men, they play say you play 4 to 6 games in September. That's enough games to determine the Best 11 of that month. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, you don't need a lot of games to get a sample size, at least for the Best 11. That's just within that month, however many games are played, whoever's in the Best 11 or the best in that particular position should be named. It's more media posts for the NWSL. It's more coverage. I don't know why they don't, or why they combine them. It's just nonsense. It's silly.
Do it monthly and just autofill Dabinia in there every month.
Put her in and build around.
Makes sense. She's a part of that. Next. you know?
They just need to find out the best 10 after Dabinia. Just slot her in there and just work around.
Exactly. Dabinia and the 10. That's it sounds like a great band. But that's cool, man. We're happy to have Dabinia for at least another year, right? She signed on through 2024.
Correct.
And she's electrifying, bro. She's still a little monster. Fun to watch. I do want to piggyback on that real quick, that she has also been named as a finalist for the 2023 NWSL MVP presented by Bud Light. That's exciting. I don't know if she'll win. I kind of think that probably goes to, I don't know what, Sophia Smith?
Oh, probably. I mean, she scored the most goals. It's like it frustrates me, the MVP, because it favors the goal scorer, right? Like, when you look at the NFL, you're not going to have a linebacker win, no matter if he played his ass off, or set records. It's always going to be a quarterback or something like that, right? So I feel like it's always going to be a goal scorer. Sophia Smith had another incredible year. Caroline had a great year as well. I'm looking at the list right now. Of course, she tore her ACL, which is absolutely devastating. North Carolina lost in a playoff game, and she was probably a big reason. They didn't have her to stretch the field and do what she does. Although what I do like is they do have 2 players in there for the most valuable player presented by Bud Light. I don't know why I'm promoting Bud Light, but Sam Coffey, she plays kind of a D mid role. She led the league in assists, so she's not the traditional goal scorer, but she does everything. I love the fact that you have her in there because, we need more MVPs that are not just the goal scorers, right? And then Naomi Girma, the best defender in the league. Big fan of hers, but I'm glad a defender's in there. So, but yeah, Dabinia, man, I think she has a chance, but it's going to be tough.
How many total names are there? I wasn't counting when you were talking there.
5.
Total 5. Yep. Okay, so really it's just kind of an honor to be on that final 5. It's kind of like it's an honor just to be nominated, that sort of thing.
Right.
If whoever wins, I think it's still cool that she's a part of this and she's a part of our club. That's exciting.
Absolutely.
Dude, were you going to say something?
I have one quick question for you. Just taking a look at the Rookie of the Year nominees, right? You have Messiah Bright from Orlando, Jenna Neiswanger from Gotham, and then Alyssa Thompson from Angel City. Do you think Cooper or Spanstra should have been in that Rookie of the Year conversation, or do you think that that's pretty fair that they were not included?
I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why. Cooper did things, but then she didn't, right? So she wasn't consistently on. She was good to have on the field. You wanted that aggressiveness, and she was always good to do a little hold-up play, maybe make a dangerous cross or two. So no there. And also Spanstra got hot towards the end. Why? Because we didn't really see much of her until the end of the year. Challenge Cup games, and then after, summertime, late summer. So she really didn't get a full year to shine. Not really fair. I kind of wonder if we would have seen her for more games if she would have been in this conversation.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Cooper flashed a lot. She did a lot of really big, there's moments where like, oh, wow, that's why she's the number 2 pick. But she just wasn't consistent enough throughout the year. And when you take a look at and she did make the team better. We were better with her on the field. But when you take a look at, these nominees, they had more of an impact, for their teams during the regular season. So it makes sense. But I think Cooper and Spanstra, certainly, they don't have a sophomore of the year or, anything like that. But if they did, I think they would absolutely be up there in consideration.
Well, and these kind of awards are cool. I think as a player, you're pretty excited to be nominated for stuff. But also, if your team didn't make the playoffs, I think you're a little more focused on that. Right. I think Dabinia's like, oh, cool, I'm in the MVP conversation. We finished 11th. I think she's not super excited about it, especially in a competition she might lose.
She'll retweet it. She'll be like, oh, cool. But she's used to those accolades, right? She's used to always being included and involved. So this is nothing new for her.
She's not going to campaign and say, vote for me. I did this, this, and this. Nah, that ain't it.
Right.
Dude, sticking with that rookie conversation, though, Alexis Spanstra was named September/October Rookie of the Month. So that's kind of neat. I kind of wish you could take, since they're doubling up, right? I kind of wish you could take all the rookies of the month and then mash them together to vote on a Rookie of the Year. That makes sense? I mean, it's like you do that with goals, right? You got goal of the month, and then you vote for goal of the year. Harder sample size, right? Since she didn't really play the whole year, but yeah, it's a neat idea.
Yeah, I like it. It'd be fun.
And then another little tidbit here, man. Couple international call-ups, 3 to be exact. Brazil has called up Lauren and Debinho, and Balaseger has been called up to Denmark. So still getting that international recognition as far as Casey Current goes.
Yeah, no surprise there.
Yeah, it makes sense. Another thing, I told you guys, it's a lot of news. We got historic, I'm going to put quotes on it, historic stadium naming rights. Yeah. Kansas City Current Stadium is called CPKC Stadium. There it is. It's not that hard to say, CPKC. I mean, it's I feel like I'm talking about Chris Paul or something. But it's did you watch the announcement? Did you watch this thing live?
Buddy, I watched it live. I was working. Ooh. I had it on my phone. I was all amped up. I was excited. I mean, we knew it was going to be a stadium naming rights.
Right. It was being teased online and stuff. Everyone's like, if I had to guess,
Right. But, it was something.
Yeah. It was. I saw videos of it afterwards.
Okay.
I did not take time to watch this live, but they came in on a train, bro. Like, no tracks. Train was off the tracks, just coming in. What people think about this overall? Was there any chatter that you noticed from other people?
It's just anticlimactic. I think that's the general theme. Actually, I might be in the minority here. I like the idea. It's just the execution, I think, was just a touch off, right? Like, the MC, as he called himself, the guy that was announcing everything, he was like, look to your, I don't know if he said west or left, but he's like, let's look to our west. And then we look over, and in the distance, you just see this train coming, and it's coming at a snail's pace.
Oh,
and there's
no music or nothing.
There's no music, and I didn't actually, and I want to now, I want to look how long it took to get there.
Oh, no.
But it felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
Right. Like I could have went and did my laundry, come back, and it'd be there in time for them to get off the train. So, but I mean, I like the idea. They just shouldn't have had the train so far back, but it did fit the theme. It did fit the theme, so it made sense.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's Canadian Pacific, Kansas City. Is that what
Canadian Pacific, Kansas City Southern?
Okay, so that's it's a railway, right?
Right.
Naturally. Well, that's you imagine, when you announce something like on a stage, right? You have a backstage area, and it's like, boom, reveal the curtain, here they come. Well, there's no curtain when you're outside. There's no something to reveal and pull the sheet down. It's just like, look out there.
Well, what was kind of funny too is they released the logo, or they showed the logo, and it was on a banner, and it was up, so you couldn't see what the logo was for the CPKC, and they released it. It was just red font CPKC.
Yeah,
and I was watching it with Vanessa, and she's like, "That's underwhelming, just the logo." But It makes sense. It's better than I like it better than a lot of other crappy stadium names like Crypto Arena. Get out of here with that. So I don't know.
Well,
I like it.
Getting the stadium's still getting finishing touches on it. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like you're doing this naming rights. You're doing what you can. I'm sure it was a mad scramble to get this done. Okay, we need a banner. There's no time to have some big sign built yet. That's for next year. And I just want to know how that conversation went. So we have a train that we want to drive in. We're going to put the owners on the train with CPKC representatives. It's going to be awesome. And I imagine that they really thought it would be awesome. And it was what it was. It was silly. And it felt like it felt like a mall train, like one of those trains at the mall that can take you from store to store. You remember those things?
I do. I don't know why. Like I grew up in Topeka, but it made me think of the train at the zoo.
The zoo train, bro. Hey, that was on a track though. That train is scary. That goes through a tunnel.
That's pretty badass. I take it.
If it breaks down in the tunnel, ooh, look out. Ghosts, bro.
But all in all, I actually enjoyed the reveal more than a lot of people, and I do like the naming of it. And it does come off your tongue fairly easily once you say it a couple of times. So I'm all for it.
Yeah. CPKC. I mean, it's compare it to their siblings in Wyandotte, right? Sporting has Children's Mercy Park. That's not exactly, the hardest thing to say, but it's not the easiest either. Yeah. Some people just say CMP, CM Park,
Right.
So cool, man. Well, that's we're excited. The stadium is moving along. Naming rights happened, and it's interesting because they didn't have to go a year calling it current stadium or something. Even Sporting had like Sporting Park for a bit, right?
Right.
Did they open as Livestrong though?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or did it go Sporting and then Livestrong?
And
then back to Sporting.
I want to say it was Livestrong, but I'm sure someone's going to correct me on that.
Yeah.
But I think that's what happened.
Then Lance got in trouble and they were like, ooh, we're done. We're done with that. Get your yellow bracelets off, people. It's not good now.
But, one thing I do like, mention in the press release is that CPKC will be involved with, Kansas City Current's community initiatives. They'll be helping to renovate the STEM lab at East High School, a Title I school and the biggest high school in Kansas City, 4 miles from the stadium. So, they're going to invest in the community, which I know is important for, obviously, Kansas City, but for the Current ownership group who do love to really give back to the community, and the fact that, their main naming rights sponsor is going to be a part of that. I don't know. It means a lot, I think, when we can get a lot of money continuously coming into the Kansas City community.
Oh, yeah. No doubt, man. No doubt. Well, cool. We got more to talk about here in a jiff, but in the meantime, enjoy this quick break.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
Dude, let me talk to you. Saw that new Scorsese flick last night.
Oh, yeah?
You seen previews?
Killer of the Flower Moon or something like that? Is that right?
Yeah, bro. Are you a Scorsese fan? Like, do you watch his stuff?
I do watch his stuff. I'm not like a super fan, right? Like, I don't know.
You've probably seen his stuff,
of course. How can you not, right? How could you like film and not see his stuff?
The Departed is one of my favorite movies. I know you young people are gonna be like, I don't know what that is, but it's fucking great. But this 3.5 hours, dude. It was an event. It was half a work day. It was crazy. Hell of a time.
And you watched that last night? Is that correct?
Last night, yeah.
Okay.
That's why I texted you at 11 o'clock, and you were like, "You're up late." It was, yes, I was. Hey, dude, the week could not be outdone until this man came in and decided to take a big seat on the canopy of CPKC Stadium. Took a big old seat, put his big dumper right on the freaking canopy, bro. And Vlatko Andonovski is who I'm talking about. Head coach. We got him. We've talked about it for weeks. It's finally here. I mean, we've talked about it for months. Back in like late spring, maybe we were like, well, that could happen eventually, and it was just speculation. What's your excitement level?
I felt like I knew it was coming. He was clearly like the betting odds favorite, and I was excited. But when it actually happened, like my excitement shot through the roof, right? But going back to Matt Potter, when Matt Potter was dismissed, like couple weeks into the season or game 4, whatever it was.
Yeah, early.
There's always the rumor, hey, if if Vlatko wins a championship with the national team, he might feel like he's accomplished everything and he might go back to club coaching. Or if, things don't work out, he would clearly be the Kansas City Currents front office pick to be the coach. And just things kind of worked out, right? The national team just fizzled out in the World Cup, and, he was let go. And ever since that happened, you knew he was going to be the odds-on favorite. He knows the front office. He's friends with the Longs. Kansas City is his home. And there is a quote that, that's clearly in a lot of the pressers. They asked Vlatko, what does Kansas City mean to you? And he said home, because that's exactly what it is. So it makes all the sense in the world. I think we're, a lot of people are still hung up on the national team's performance, but I still think we're really lucky to have them. And I'm excited to get started.
I got to be honest. There's got to be a little bit of, I don't know. The guy's done a lot, right? He was with FCKC for a while. Yeah. And, then went on to Seattle. Am I correct?
Seattle Reign, that is correct.
For a minute, yeah. And then U.S. national team. So, but to come back here, I'm just going to float this, because if I'm the coach, and now my owners are the Longs and Patrick and Brittany Mahomes, that's a weird life I'm living, bro. I'm like, okay, Patrick Mahomes is part of this ownership group. Now, I think the Longs really deal with the day-to-day, because Patrick's a little busy. I don't know if you know. But it's also like you probably get access to these people. I mean, do you think he's getting tickets to Chiefs games? Because that sounds like a blast.
Yeah. I mean, I think at Kansas City, he gets access wherever he goes. He coached for, FCKC coach from 2013 to 2017. Like you mentioned, the coach of Seattle Reign FC from 2018 to 2019 for 2 seasons. And then the national team from 2019 on. He was our original head coach here in Kansas City and also a coach at the Comet. So you'd have to be under a rock to not know what Vlatko's done for Kansas City soccer.
He's almost got, like, you don't ever say his last name. I mean, I know it's a lot of syllables, so maybe that's why. But also, you just say Vlatko. Vlatko. The dude is like Cher. You just say his name, Shabinya.
Out of all the names, you could just equate like Vlatko, just with one singular name, Cher.
She just had a Christmas album come out. What do you? It's top of mind.
They're both iconic, right? So they're both iconic in their respective fields. So,
look, I saw a thing on Twitter, on X, that very funny, and I want to give props. I wish I remembered who this person was, or I screenshotted it or something. They zoomed in to people working on the stadium during this picture, and they're like, shout out to the crew still working when Vlatko decided to come have a seat.
I think I saw, like, it was funny because internet's brutal, right? Like, internet's undefeated. It's so true, because I think I saw more posts about like that picture
than
I did about him being named the head coach.
The man is, what they are saying to me in this picture, I'm interpreting it as, this man's larger than life. Like, he's a giant and comes in. And I want to talk about his drip. Look at the joggers. The man's got some joggers on, showing some ankle, scandalous. And then that quarter zip. Where can I get that quarter zip? That's looking good, man. That's looking good.
Ugh. I don't know, man. I can't comment on the man's fashion because I have none, but
you're right. You do wear shoes until the wheels fall off, essentially,
And I have. Literally, I played soccer until my foot came out the side of a shoe. So
insane to me, dude. Spend some money. Treat yourself.
It was a blowout. I didn't expect it to happen, but it happened. But he has 158 regular season games coached with 7 playoff games. He has a record of 72, 50, and 43. He's been everywhere, right? He's done indoor, national team, club. I think he's significantly a better coach for club than he is national team. We always talk about how little they actually get to work with national team players.
There
are a couple, I don't want to say concerns, but if I have to, list a couple things. During his national team run, some players were, somewhat critical that he was, not flexible. He was pretty rigid.
Not subbing.
Not subbing. So that could just be not having enough time with the players. He wanted some players to play like other players, which is kind of odd. He wanted Alex Morgan to play more like Katarina Macario, kind of a different style and a different position, which is kind of odd in my book. Didn't sub a lot.
I don't like that, by the way. Sorry, I want to pause you right there. Yeah. I don't like when a coach tries to change a player, because in a national team, you have players who have established who they are and what they're capable of doing. So you bring them in and you work with that. You don't try to change what they can do, because you're going to have problems, man. You don't get a lot of time with these people.
Yeah.
Does that sound smart? That felt smart.
It's smart. And then during the, the game against Sweden that they were knocked out, they had to do a double pivot just because of the personnel, and it worked out really well. So it kind of felt like once he was forced to make an adjustment, the team was better for it. They obviously lost some PKs, but I'm still incredibly excited about this coach. The coaching market in women's soccer is incredibly strange, right? I didn't know who Matt Potter was when we hired him. It's not like the NFL or the NBA when they just have, we have a bunch of knowledge of college offensive coaches, right? Or college coaches or great offensive coordinators who are clearly kind of, they're waiting for their opportunity. It's not like that in women's soccer. At least I don't have enough knowledge to think like that. So yeah, I think Vlatko was a great hire. He was 2-time NWSL Coach of the Year in 2013 with Kansas City and 2019 with Seattle. He's one of 2 coaches with 2 or more NWSL championships, one of 5 coaches with 150 games coached. But, I was doing a little digging into his Seattle years because I didn't have enough. I don't remember it very well, right? Because our team left, went to Utah. I kind of shut down a little bit.
We stopped paying attention.
As much, yeah. Of course, I pay attention a little bit, but when you lose your team, it hurts, right?
Yeah.
And I was clearly a little salty. So, prefacing these 2 years, North Carolina was by far the best team. They had, that was obviously with a coach that was involved with the scandals, but their roster was the who's who. If you go look at the North Carolina rosters from 2018 and 2019, Lynn Williams, Sam Mewis, Mace, Hamilton, Dabinia, it was absolutely stacked.
Yeah, we just took their roster. We just took North Carolina's roster for a bit.
Yeah, we essentially did. But their roster was, it's unfair how their roster, I don't even know how it got put together, but it did. So the point I'm trying to make is that's an incredibly difficult team to beat. So, taking a look at 2018, Seattle Reign played 24 games. They're 11-8-5. So, with a +8 goal difference, and they made the playoffs. So they only lost 5 games in 2018. Yeah. They played 24 games and only lost 5.
Wow.
And when I looked at this roster, it was solid. The roster was
11-8-5. Isn't 8 the loss? Or is 5 the loss?
5 is the loss.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I'm going off a wiki here, so yeah. They may have arranged it a little differently. So yeah, 5 losses, and they were 3rd in 2018, and they made the playoffs. And then looking at 2019, when he won Coach of the Year, they finished 4th with 10 wins, 8 draws, and 6 losses. So, if you're only losing 6 games, that's pretty darn good, right? You're going to have a chance to make the playoffs. But what stood out to me was when so I want to look at this quote here. When he won the Coach of the Year, the reason he won, and he beat out Paul Riley, who was the head coach of North Carolina. He got 52.8% of the votes, but it was because they dealt with a lot of adversity, with many players performing at their best, with a lot of injuries, and a lot of players missing due to World Cup duty. I don't know if that narrative sounds familiar. Injuries and players missing a World Cup duty.
I've heard that.
That just sums up our season. this year. So the fact that, he was
had that
year,
experience.
he's had that experience, that makes me feel a lot more comfortable with this hire.
I feel comfortable. I mean, one thing that stood out to me also, he coached in the major indoor soccer league, got the title in 2014 and an undefeated season in 2015, man. Like,
Jeez.
You know how hard it is to go undefeated in anything, let alone soccer. Indoor soccer, that game is a monster. I mean, that goes back and forth, dude. You're bound to lose a game. But no, not at all. So I'm excited to have him. Normally, if you pick up a coach who came from a losing team, it can feel like, okay, you're picking up a loser. You're like, it can feel that way. You're like, well, he didn't do well with them. Why is he going to do well with us? Let me ask you this. You're a Cowboys fan. Did you feel that way when, who's the coach, McCarthy?
Yeah.
Did you feel that way when he kind of busted out of Green Bay and then you pick him up? Like, it's like, okay, we're getting a loser.
I had a lot of questions whether or not he could still coach in what the NFL was today.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? As you mentioned, that strikes a note here. He hasn't coached club since 2019, 4 years ago. Can he still coach in what the NWSL is today?
Exactly.
And I think that's a question. But
I feel better because he's not coming from a losing club. He's coming from failing out of a world tournament. You know what I mean? It's the World Cup, for God's sake. So it's like, that's okay. You were beat by some really good teams. You didn't move to the final like everyone expected you to do. And that's okay. I think this is still a quality hire. I think he's got tools to work with. I'll be excited to see what he does to bolster the lineup, And wasn't he also named sporting director?
Yes.
Was that okay? I thought I read that somewhere.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. So we got another Peter Vermees on our hands. I mean, that's what it is. He's gonna have all the power.
Yeah,
and that'll be interesting to watch evolve.
I'm curious to see how him and Cammie, the general manager, work together. You always kind of wonder. And I do kind of feel bad for the ownership group and the fan base here because we've had 3 coaches in 3 years.
Well,
we had Hugh Williams, Matt Potter, and then Matt Potter was let go, and then Coach Feuerbloom. So,
oh my God,
4 coaches,
fourth coach.
Yeah,
holy shit.
So, and then on top of that, the front office has evolved in terms of having different general managers, right? So, like Hugh Williams was the general manager in our first year. So the point I'm trying to make is, whenever you get new general managers, whenever you get new head coaches, they like their players, right? Like, they have an idea of how they want to play, the formation, the style, what kind of talent they need to do that. And that has changed for us almost every single year. So we really need some continuity. We really need some stability in kind of how can we build a roster looking at the same type of structure. And, some of these players like Lowe has been through it all, right? So I'm really excited to see what he does with the roster, to your point, what he does to bolster. But I'm also a little afraid because we've come to like a lot of these players. And I still think we have an incredibly good roster that can compete with anybody in the NWSL. But it'll be interesting what he does with it.
Agreed. I do want to end what I just said. Peter Vermees is also general manager, right, of Sporting?
He runs the show.
That's what I mean. So
yeah,
Vlatko still has the general manager to speak to. Peter just looks in the mirror and he's like, what are we doing today? I mean, because Peter is in charge of all things. And that is wild to me.
What I do like, and what I think that we can expect with him as sporting director, is some type of, additional developmental, right? Like you have with SKC2 and in club and academy. There is a Sporting too, or I'm sorry, there is a Kansas City Current too.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows about it because it's nowhere to be found on social media, but it's there. So I'm really curious to see what he does with that, especially having KU women's college soccer and Missouri kind of, and a couple of Kansas City colleges kind of in the backyard, right? The vicinity. There's a lot of players to keep an eye out on. So to see what he does with that, I'm incredibly excited as well.
Yeah, man. No doubt. Well, welcome, Vlatko. I look forward to maybe speaking with you sometime. This will be good, man. I'm excited. It's October, but the New Year's right around the corner. So dude, that leads us to NWSL playoffs, man. The final 4 semifinals are set. And I'm kind of on that Gotham FC hype train, baby.
Oh, yeah.
They got past North Carolina. Wasn't sure they would. So they will be taking on Portland Thorns in the semis. OL Reign knocked out Angel City just by a 1-goal margin. And they'll be taking on San Diego Wave. That game could be fun to watch. The game's in Portland and the game's in San Diego. Both games take place this Sunday. I'm kind of on the Gotham train, bro. I got to tell you, this Ali Krieger stuff has blown up into epic proportions. People are big-time supporters of her right now, big-time mad at her ex-wife, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. I'm not a celebrity goss guy, but I'm like, what else we got?
What else we got?
Satiate me.
Feed me.
Great.
Feed me. Yeah, I mean, the internet's brutal, man. Like, you sent me some stuff. Everybody loves Ali Krieger because she's so, like, wholesome. She's so nice. Defender, hard worker. Started for World Cup teams. Has always done the right thing. Has a great, wholesome image. Right? They adopted 2 kids. Just done so much. So many positive things for this sport over the last decade or so. And then you have Ashlyn Harris, who, knowing what we know now, has gotten so much heat on Twitter, man. Like, you sent me some stuff. I could not help but laugh. And I don't like to take, enjoyment out of people's, downfall or misery or whatever you want to call
I love
it.
It's Schadenfreude, baby. I love that.
But when it's so funny, sometimes I can't help it. I just can't help it. You sent me a tweet and it was like her heat map, Ashlyn Harris's heat map in the World Cup, and it was just the bench. And other NWSL players liked it, and including national team players.
And comments like,
yeah,
dude, they are fully on the Ali Krieger track. Like, when your friends break up, you kind of don't stay friends with both of them. Like, I don't know if you've experienced this.
You try, but eventually one fades, one stays, right?
It's not really sustainable. I mean, because in most cases, you were friends with one of them before they got together. Like, that happens too. But this one, dude, people are pulling up her worst highlights, which as a goalkeeper, I hate because it's not hard to find. They're all fuck-ups for goalkeepers look so bad. It just is what it is. But the one thing that really stood out to me, well, welcome to the Celebrity Gossip Hour on Currently, is that Ashlyn Harris is, who's she dating now? That actress.
Sophia Bush, which I didn't know who she was. But apparently she's pretty popular, I guess, right? Pretty famous.
Apparently, I had to look up, and my wife Marissa goes, "You don't know who she is?" I was like, "How do you know? Like, you don't know these things?" And she's just all in on it. I was like, "Okay, all right, go back to Swiftie Mania. How about that?" But dude, she brings her to a game, and Megan Rapinoe's there, and it's just like, Megan Rapinoe is arguably Ali Krieger's like best friend, and she's got to be like awkward with this new boo, and it's just been fun. I don't know.
I mean, I look forward to more of you sharing interesting and comedic tweets to me.
It's gonna die down. There will be more stuff that comes out and overshadows it. Like, that's all you can hope for. Like, if you mess up, something else is gonna come out, and then you're yesterday's news, and you're like, thank goodness. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Does anyone care about Patrick Mahomes right now? No. They care about Travis Kelce. They care about Taylor Swift. They're like, who's this guy throwing the ball to Travis Kelce? That's where we're at.
I have seen more tweets of Taylor Swift giving Travis Kelce a kiss on the cheek than I think I have ever planned in my life. It's everywhere. But reeling it back in,
I'm fully on board with that, by the way. I don't even care. I'm like, yes, let you guys date forever.
They are adorable, though. They are adorable.
Yeah.
But, going back to this playoff here, like I said, Portland's taking on Gotham, and then San Diego is taking on OL. They're all really fun matchups, right? They're all going to be offensive firepower, just fully entertaining matchups. And I do want to mention, Ali Krieger is a nominee for Defender of the Year for the NWSL. She's having a great year. Her last year, she's having a phenomenal year.
Kind of makes you wish she wasn't calling it quits. It's like, how are you going to be a Defender of the Year nominee and not come back? You know what I mean? But then there's that sense of going out on top.
Yeah. And she leads the league in a lot of defensive statistics. So this is not just a narrative. Like, there's numbers to back her up here. So one thing that a lot of people are really hoping for is Gotham against OL in the finals, because you have Rapinoe's last game versus Ali Krieger's last game. Ooh. And that would be a great send-off for one or the other, or maybe both. But
I'd love to end Sophia Smith's run and Alex Morgan's run. Like, they're too good.
Too good. But let me ask you for a prediction here. Portland, Gotham. You said you're on that Gotham train, right? You're predicting Gotham to beat Portland.
Yeah, but, Portland's got a hell of a fan base. That place is arguably a very hard place to play, for the men and women. They both play there. And so, but so is San Diego. So both these teams have to go on the road. Reign and Gotham have to go on the road and get it done. Gotham got it done in North Carolina, but North Carolina gets like 9,000 people at their games. So this will be a different challenge for them. Portland will get raucous.
I saw North Carolina had I don't even think it was 5,000 people for their playoff.
Seriously.
Yeah, it was. Let's see if I can pull it up here. It was.
Yeah, I don't know.
4,612 people for a playoff game for North Carolina.
For that game against Gotham?
Yeah, 4,000.
Oh, it wasn't even 9?
No, 4,612. After they set the record, their previous home game of 9 or 10,000. They set their home record and then had a playoff and it didn't even get half that.
Do you know how weird that is? That you could hear someone sneeze in a couple sections over? It's just, you hear a pin drop, dude. We've been at these kinds of games, and it's like you can just hear conversations on the field. When you can hear them talking on the field and on the bench and stuff, it's like, this environment needs an improvement.
But you know what I do like? We played Gotham on decision day, right? They had to win to guarantee at least that they would make it in the playoffs, and we had a draw. And there was times when we looked like we were the better team.
Oh yeah.
And here they are in the semifinal, playing hot. They're in a good form right now. Going up against Portland, who got spanked against Angel City 5-1.
Yeah.
I mean, Portland's not the greatest of form. Gotham is. I don't know if you take talent, roster, record over form, but
you got to take form, bro. You got to, because soccer's all about form. No other sports make me feel that form is important. Like, talent shines in football, basketball. But soccer, if you're on that form, dude, that feel, and you squeeze into the playoffs such as they did, look out. That's a dangerous team. I highly expect to be talking about maybe a Gotham and OL Reign final, bro.
I'm gonna go the opposite, and you're probably right. Which I was wrong last week, by the way. So don't
you
listen.
think Portland and San Diego are getting it done?
I do. I think Portland. They're playing for the Shield. They're playing for $15,000 per player, right? They're playing for money. They're playing for the first overall place. I wonder if they just kind of didn't come in there mentally, as fired up as they should have. They still have the best roster, or one of the best rosters. I think Portland, and like you said, at home, they're very difficult to beat. Didn't we give, earlier this year, I think we gave Portland their first loss at home, and they had a streak going. So they're really good at home. San Diego.
Penalty kick.
Off of a penalty. We'll take it. And then, San Diego, they're playing really good right now. They're in great form. OL has been kind of back and forth. But, maybe Rapinoe has some magic left and can do something special. But if San Diego wins, the championship is at home.
It's in San Diego.
It's in San Diego. So if they win, they're going to have a home game for the final.
If we would have made it there, I would have tried to take some vacation and head on out there. You know what I mean? That would have been...
I know people in San Diego. I know I could stay for free. I just got to get there.
Look out.
So...
Tells people.
So I almost thought about going to the game anyway, but
Oh, wow. But you just spent like half a month in Turkey. Like, I know you don't get a lot of vacation. Like, what is going on here?
I don't know. I just try to make the most of it. But
World traveler, man. I think it could be Gotham and San Diego, to be honest. And I don't know. Gotham's just on this tear. So we'll have to see what happens, man. It looks like Portland and Gotham are at 6 on Sunday, and then San Diego and OL Reign are at 8:30. A little doubleheader for you.
absolutely.
It's going to be tough, man. With MLS playoffs in full swing, too, and NWSL playoffs, there's a lot of soccer to be watched right now. And it's pretty exciting. You get to watch any European stuff at all? Do you do that much?
I watch Bayern.
Do you? It's tough sometimes.
It can be. A lot of the games might be, when I'm either early morning or, when I'm at work. But
Yeah, afternoon or something.
I would like to follow more women's European soccer, as well as the Mexican Femenil, man. When they came to Kansas City, it made me want to, follow the Mexican league a little more. And
Yeah, but can't be a fan of Monterrey because we spanked that ass. We took them out.
actually, that's more of a reason because I don't want to be a fan of a team who beat us.
Yeah,
Exactly. I don't know.
Exactly.
But
good point.
It'd be fun to have a bunch of teams to follow and support and learn more about the game as a whole.
It adds up, man. It's a lot of sports to be watching, and it's like, damn, you got no time for nothing else.
Nothing.
And you got KU basketball around the corner. That's gonna get wild. That's like 2 games a week,
Dallas Cowboy football. It's a wild time, sir.
It is. You guys are great. Well, cool, man. Dude, anything else to hit? We good?
Oh man, I think we're good for now.
Yeah.
Oh, there are some U.S. women's national team friendlies coming up here. One is tomorrow against Colombia at 8 Central. That's on TBS, Universo, Max, and Peacock. And then we have another game against Colombia on the 29th at 4:30 Central on TNT, Telemundo, Max, and Peacock.
You said tomorrow, technically tonight.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
People listening to it. So
Correct.
Have you been watching sports on Max? What's your thoughts on that?
I've watched some of the national team stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched a whole lot.
Decent broadcast, in my opinion. I've watched a little NBA on there, NHL, and the national team soccer games. Seems to be good. They're trying that little BR Sports add-on,
Okay, all right. And I think there's one thing I've been meaning to mention. I'm going to look it up here real quickly.
No.
Oh gosh, Kristen Hamilton. She's in the running for their is it Variety KC? I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm looking up now. You can vote for Kristen Hamilton it's a fan vote for the 2023 Nationwide Community Impact Award. She is representing Variety KC, and she's top 3. So I still think the voting is available.
Casey Curran didn't put that on their news section on their website, so that's that's cool. Good for her.
And Victoria Pickett won it last year.
Nice.
You remember what she won it last year? So let's be back-to-back Community Impact Award champions. Let's go support Kristen Hamilton and Variety KC.
Absolutely. Cool, man. All right, well, let's get out of here, huh?
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much. We'll be back next week to probably preview NWSL championship game, recap those semifinals, talk about other nonsense, and we'll talk to you guys then. For Daniel Kuser and Chris Wright and Vlatko coming in to sit on your stadium, we'll talk to you guys later. Love you.